Hi, my stamping friends. It's Diane Evans with stampingwithdiane.com. I'm an independent Canadian Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the interior of British Columbia. So if this is one of your first times joining me, welcome. Also, if you're joining me on YouTube, make sure that you do subscribe and also that you push the bell and you get notified immediately as soon as I upload a new video. So if this is one of your, also another thing is, I am doing this live. So if you see me say different comments to different people, that's the reason why. And I just want you to be aware of that. So today, and what I do every Thursday night, is part of my What Now series. Now, this series actually started when people were saying, well, can you show me how to use this? Can you show me how to use that? And it's great. And sometimes it's very challenging for me. I know that there's people that have asked for certain things for me to do, but they just have to be right. They have to be right at the right time for me to do it. And I don't do any retired products. I might do a suite. If that's what you would like to see as a suite, that would be great. But like I say, I don't do any retired products. So there's an awful lot. We have a new catalog coming on May the 3rd, and a lot of things are retiring. So I'm going to try to fit in quite a bit of that stuff that is retiring, because I'm sure there's people that would like to know how to use some of that stuff. So like I say, welcome to my What Now series. So today what we're going to do is we are going to play with watercolored paper. I know the other day I had done something with watercolor paper, but there's so many different techniques and different things that you can do with watercolor paper, and you can create so many wonderful backgrounds and so many other images. It truly is amazing stuff. It's really, really good stuff. Now, we have this Fluid 100. We get 10 sheets, and I think these are like 4.5 by 6-7 inch sheets. It's really nice and thick. It works really, really well. Thank you so much for sharing. I really do appreciate that. But it's nice and thick. It helps absorb the paper. So you can kind of see some of the colors that I'm going to be using on the background here. But I'm hoping that you like this particular technique, because it is kind of fun. I finally got some of the ink off of my fingers today, but I didn't get it all off. So playing with ink is rather messy, and I probably should be using rubber gloves with it. All right, so we are going to be using that 100 paper, and I'm also using this Sailing Home. I have not used this stamp set or this bundle in a long time, but I have to tell you, this is one of the stamp sets that is retiring from the annual catalog, this bundle, this whole bundle. And it's a great one because it really is realistic looking. So like I say, this is one of those ones that I think I'm going to miss this one. I just like all the different elements that are with it. So we are going to be using, of course, we're going to be kind of using some the colors that kind of go along with what might be in something like this. So I've got Coastal Cabana, and I've got it 4.25 by 11, and I've scored it at 5.5. And I have these different pieces here because I'm not sure exactly how they're going to work because of what I'm doing. But this piece of watercolor paper is just over 2.25 by, and I'm sorry, I have to measure this, by 5 inches. And what we're going to do with this is what we're going to do. We're going to prep this piece first, because it's going to take a bit to dry. So I keep all of these, when I get different types of specialty paper, I keep the chipboard and I keep the plastic that's on it. And this helps as a protection for my my desktop here and the paper and everything else. But it also keeps the water, because we're using watercolor. We're going to be using water as well. All right. So one thing that I want to do is we are also going to use blocks. And I'm not sure if I'm going to, you know what, I think I'll go ahead, and this is going to give me some white on the ends, but that's okay. That we're good with that. So I have this block, and this I think is it's an eye block. And what we're going to do is I'm going to color this up. I could use re-inkers with this. I could use sponges with this, but I am going straight with my stamp pads, and we're going to do it that way. So I'm coming in with So Saffron, and then, and I'm going to have to keep closing these up. I'm using pumpkin pie. Oh my goodness, you guys. Can you imagine me using pumpkin pie like this? This is really, truly amazing. It's just not a color that I use that often. Now, I'm just coming like this, and I want to cover that part up because I don't want all that pumpkin pie to go there. So I'm just going to butt that up to that. And you notice what I'm doing is I'm going from lighter to darker. And then I'm going to come in with, let's see, I think we'll come in with, should I use darker and then lighter? I'm wondering. You know what? I think I'm going to go lighter and then the darker, because this will kind of get the sky, and the darker will be kind of the ocean. So I'm just going to come, and we're just going to ink this up, and this is Coastal Cabana. Now, I don't want it to go too much into there, and the reason being is I don't want to contaminate my stamp pad. But like I say, I'm going from lighter to darker, so it's going to work okay. And then I'm going to, my final color is going to be Bermuda Bay. I could use a darker color, but I think this one's going to be light enough. Let's just put this here. All right. And we got it. It kind of has lines on it. They're kind of straight lines, but you know what? Once I play around with this water, you're not going to notice those lines so much. All right. So do you have a spritzer in your stash? It's something, a really good thing to have. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my spritzer and I'm going to ink this up really good. And we want this to kind of blend. And if I need more, I can go in with more. I've got my piece of cardstock. I'm not cardstock. It's the watercolor paper. You can see why I get so much ink on me. And then I'm just going to go in like this and get that. That's going to be pretty wet. All right. So what I want to do is I'm just going to come in with some Kleenex because I don't want a lot of that color on there. But this is a technique that you use rock salt. I don't have rock salt, but I do have Himalayan salt. So I've got it on a coarse setting, and I'm just going to put that rock salt right onto, well, it's not rock salt. Like I said, it's pink Himalayan salt. And this is just going to give a tiny bit of a different look to that. So then I'm just going to come in with my Kleenex that I have here. And I'm just going to remove this excess because you know what? Trust me, I know because of what I did this afternoon that it's going to get all over the place. So I'm just going to come in there and let's just take that off and we'll just leave that and we're going to let it dry. So I'm just going to put this down here for a bit. And then let's go ahead and complete the rest of the card. And then we'll go back to that. All right. So like I say, I've got my Coastal Cabana and I've got it at, let's see, I've got it at 5.5 by 11. I've scored it 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5.5. So I'm just going to fold into the mountain. And I'm just going to come in with my bone folder and make sure I've got a really good crease. I am using what we call a tent fold here. Now, have you noticed this? This is amazing. This is an embossing folder and it's a mini one. Hello. Yes, I didn't even use Misty Moonlight yet, but you know what? We have some beautiful colors coming as well. Anyways, back to this embossing folder. This is called Splatters, and there's splatters and stripes, and it's really kind of a neat embossing folder. And I'm using this one tonight because I want it to go through my mini cut and emboss. And I'm going to come in with my Coastal Cabana, and up here I'm just going to grab this particular sailboat, and I'm just going to ink this up. Now this is going to act very similar to what Versamark would do, right? kind of want to do it randomly. Oops. And it's, like I say, it's only going to be sort of random, but with me using the embossing folder on here, it's going to make it to a point where you're not going to notice it that much. So I'm just going to go ahead and we're just going to put it in this splatters one. And then I'm coming in with my mini cut and emboss. Remember, up until the end of this month, you can save 20% on this cut and emboss. And then afterwards in the new catalog, just to let you know, the price of this is going up. All right, so I'm using a level 1 and a level 4 because this is a 3D embossing folder. And if you ever want to know how to put this together, just read the instructions on there. It tells you what the sandwich is. So I'm just going to run that through. Go. Get that out of the way. All right. So see how that is just taking it just to a bit of a different level. I'm just going to be seeing some of that. This is not the focal point, so it's not a biggie to see it. And I have this cut at 5 1/4. I think it's by about 3 inches. And this piece here is actually going to go on here on this side. So we're only going to see it on that part. Now I wonder how my piece is doing here. I'm thinking that it may need some help with the, yeah, because it's pretty wet on the back. So I'm going to come in with my heat gun. No embossing, you noticed, right? And I'm actually going to do it, warm it up or dry it from the bottom side because that is where it's actually the wettest. So, like I say, I was having lots of fun with re-inkers and everything today. I've come up with a couple of things that I want to do. But I really wanted to show off this stamp set in this bundle because it's such a pretty bundle. And to me, this is kind of looking like a sunset. We're hoping that it looks like a sunset. That's kind of what my intention was. And then all I'm going to do is I'm coming with my Kleenex. You could do it with paper towel. And I'm just going to rub off that salt. And all that's doing is it just gives a tiny bit of a different look is all that it is. So it's not a biggie. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to tear this. I'm going to tear this off. I just give it a bit of a rough look on it. And if I have a bit of white on it, that's okay too. I'm not. Oops. There. How long has it been since we've torn something as well, right? All right. So then what I'm going to do is this is going to go on to here, but of course we have to have an image that goes on there. So I thought that, well, this would be great to just stamp directly from a stamp, but because this is a little warped and everything else, doesn't matter what side of the paper that you use. You know what? I did not pay any attention to that. So that's a really good question. I think it kind of does. It depends, but I guess if you use the other side, it's going to be a bit different. This one happens to be the rougher side of it. So I'm going to come in with my Stamparatus because I want to make sure that it's going to stamp, and I want to be able to make sure that I can turn around and I can stamp it 2 or 3 times. So I'm just going to come in and just clean this off for a bit. And I'm using the Lighthouse. So aren't there so many things that are retiring? I could not believe. I went through my stuff today and I actually marked it off. And honestly, I'm quite surprised at how many of my things are retiring. So let's see, that's going to work there. All right, and I probably should come in with another I'm going to come in with another magnet. And we're just going to put that down there because what I want to do is I want that to be about there, maybe. Let's see. I think I'll do it, about like that. So if you have a Stamparatus, make sure that you use it. You were shocked at how much was retiring. Well, it's an annual catalog, it does, but there's some really good ones that are so going to be upsetting. Like the Stitch So Sweetly is one of those dies that I just love. Okay, I am using the Misty Moonlight. It is retiring. I could use Night of Navy on this, but I wanted to use the Misty Moonlight, so I'm just going to ink that up. Remember, with your Stamparatus, make sure that you've got something underneath there. You could put a stamp pad underneath there. You could put a stamp set underneath there. You just want it so it's not warped there. Okay, now let me just come in like this, and I'm going to come in with my Chucky. My Chucky, or what I'm going to call is my Peggy, because Peggy went and had this. She made this and sent this to me. Now, to let you know, I have a video which I am going to post. I had to do some editing on it because I didn't stop the video is what happened. So it went for another 2 minutes. So I had to take that part off. And I'm not the best person at doing editing. Don't like to edit any of my videos. Okay, so we need to stamp that some more. I think my Misty Moonlight needs to be re-inked personally. Don't forget about those re-inkers, you know. I can't stress enough because especially if you're using any of your stamp sets for sponging, it tends to take an awful lot of the ink off. So, and let's go a little bit more. That's the beauty of a Stamparatus, right? I originally was going to do this in black, and I didn't like how the water-based paint, because I usually use Memento, I didn't like how it worked on my thing. One more I think we can do. And you know what? I should have put those birds up there. Because they're not going to show up very good. Okay. This is another one of those stamp sets that has some amazing seagulls on there. So let me just go in and I'm just going to grab those. And I'll grab just a little. And let me see if we've got this going the right way. So I just want to use a scrap piece of paper. Yep, there's good. I don't know how this is going to work on here. Okay. Let's see which way are these birds going. Okay, I think I'm just going to put this right up about here. And they're not going to be dark. I know that. But not bad. You just kind of want that look of it. All right, so we have this. Just move our Stamparatus out of the way. I notice people want me to do stuff with the Stamparatus. What exactly do you want to see done with the Stamparatus? It would be interesting to see exactly what you would like to see done with that. All right, so this is actually going to go on here on this Bermuda Bay. And the Bermuda Bay is at 2.5 by 5 1/4. So let's go ahead and let's put this on with some glue. Now I'm going to do this pretty close to the edge here. And I'm going to let this set up a bit so that it's tacky. And then I'm thinking to myself that I want to go ahead and I want to stamp. This has a really nice thanks on there. I think that was one that I really liked. And I really like this die here as well. Here. So I did go ahead and I stamped that from another piece. And it wasn't that dark either, but it's okay. We can live with that. Okay, I wonder if that's set up enough. I've got this salt here. You know, the Himalayan salt doesn't work bad on it. It doesn't work bad. I don't know what the rock salt would do. I honestly, I don't know the difference between the rock salt and that. Okay, so this is going to go onto this side here. So like I said, I just want it to be kind of, yeah, that'll be okay. But I kind of want to put some of this linen thread on here. So this is going to ravel off the rolls, so I got to be really careful. I'm going to wrap it around 3 times. Why not, right? And let's see. I wish that I could tie one of those knots. I'm going to actually tie it off to the right side here. Now, if I don't get this tight enough, I can show you a trick that's really kind of cool. You know, see, this is kind of loose there. So what I can do is I can go to the back. We don't use Scotch tape when we're crafting, right? So I can just go to the back and I can use my tear and tape. And we just want to put some tear and tape there and some tear and tape on this side. And what that does is it keeps this part fairly tight on the front. All right, let's see how that's going to work. Okay. Now this can go right on here. So I'll use my glue on here. See, you could use either side on here. It would be really neat, the deboss side or the emboss side. I'm going to just put that off to the right. And then I think we're going to put this about here as well, but I want to pop that up with dimensionals. Let's see, I've been taking all the edges off my dimensionals. Okay. One there. Put one down here and one up here. Well, one about there, I guess. Okay. Let's come in with our Take Your Pick tool. And then, whoops, took the whole dimensional off. There we go. So I just want to put that off to this side here. Geez, I like those colors together. I'm just going to put that off there. And you know what? I don't have to have it completely off to that one side. And then this thanks can go up here, maybe. Maybe it needs to be darker. Maybe it needs to be put onto the Bermuda Bay with some embossing. I said I wasn't going to do a card with embossing. So let's see how that's going to be. Now, as far as what to do for embellishments, what would you say would be good for embellishments? I have some here. The pebbles I don't think are going to work on here. Iridescent rhinestones, I don't know if they're going to work on here. Maybe these faux sea glass might work. But I think if we're going to use these, I'm going to make them darker because they're pretty small. I think I'm going to come in with my Bermuda Bay. I'm going to make them darker. And I'm going to put 5 on here at least. Let's see how that looks. Maybe we won't use that. I don't know. All right. Let's go here. See that they're just so small. I really think that it would be better if they were darker or bigger. All right. go here. No, they're just not dark enough. Let's go here. It's pretty plain. To me, it needs something else. And I think it's going to be the sentiment that's going to be something that's going to need to be there. So would I put a sentiment there? So let's go ahead, and I've got my thanks. And I'm going to try to do this without doing any embossing. So this is just a scrap piece. And then let's see how that's going to stamp. That might work a little bit better. Let's take that out. That's a really nice stitched label, that's for sure. All right, so let's take that, and I'll bring in my mini cut and emboss. Again, and let's see how that's going to work. So this will be level 1 or number 1, and a number 2 and another number 2. So let's see how that's going to work. Might have to change that up completely. I might have to do a bigger sentiment. That might be the route to go. All right, so let me just come in with my Post-it note tape. Can't see this. I've got to bring this down here to take a look. And then we'll just put that on top there. All right, let's see how this works. Actually, it might have been kind of nice in that greeny color. So let's just see what this looks like, and I may have to play with it a little bit more after. Yeah, I think maybe the sentiment is not big enough is what the problem is. So let's go there. Well, it's not bad. All right, so I'll go ahead and I'll put this on. I'm not going to put the glue on there to begin with. So we'll see how that looks. So I'm going to come with, we're just going to put dimensionals on one side. And just like that. Now, let's see. All right. So there's the card, and that's using that watercolor paper. Like I say, it's great paper. Let me bring it back in. You get 10 sheets of it, and it goes quite a long ways. I got to show you, I had played with just the greens on there. And then I was playing with some pinks, and I don't know where my pink ones went, but of course I was going to do something totally different with it. But it's pretty neat by doing that. And you know, that salt on there really does give a different texture. I think if it was just flat, it wouldn't have been, it really works good this way with that paper on there, or with the salt on there. All right, so boy, do I have a mess, another mess going for me. So I will be posting the Chucky video. I went ahead and I made, this was the Chucky that I made in the video. I have another jar to make there. Sandy, I've got this jar for you, the Chucky for you, unless you want whatever. But I call it a Peggy. And also just to reach out to say happy birthday to Peggy. I know she was online today, so I did get to wish her a happy birthday as well. Yeah, they're pretty nice colors and bold for me, right? Right, Kathy? Quite bold, really, for, yeah, quite a bit bolder. Anyways, don't forget, last chance list came out. Don't forget about the BOGO. If you live in Canada, you're more than welcome to come to our BOGO. It's going to start, you can start making comments at 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, and it goes till 7 o'clock Saturday night. We have some challenges that are on there. Even if you don't want to do anything, we do have a schedule that's on our BOGO site we're going to be showing off, we've got some beautiful symbols of fortune. We're doing happiness and rainbows. We're doing the ladybug one, and we're also doing flowering fields. And then we're going to stamp together and do waves of the ocean. So that's going to be fun. Well, thank you. Well, Peggy, you deserve a shout out, right? I hope you had a really good day. I hope you got spoiled rotten. We all deserve to get spoiled rotten, right? Anyways, have a great evening, and we hope to see you on Saturday. There won't be any sketch on Saturday. The sketch will be done on Sunday, and no sip and stamp because we're just finishing our. See, there you go, Peggy. People are saying happy birthday to you. All right, thank you for joining me, and we will talk soon. Bye for now.